Morning, this is the Superstition Mountain Wilderness area. I'm going to break here to talk about an underwatched anime.
Only yesterday.
Only Yesterday is a serious anime theatrical drama about a young woman taking stock of her life so far as she steps into her future. Taiko is a modern working woman of corporate Tokyo. At 27, she's still single and apparently not seeing anyone seriously. She was born and raised in the city, but for her summer vacation, she decides to spend 2 weeks working out on a Japanese farm where she spent a few weeks the previous summer. It's an unusual vacation, as her boss points out, but she seems to enjoy hard work out in the countryside's fresh air. As Taiko begins her overnight train ride to Yamagata, she's flooded by memories of her life when she was just 11 years old. She calls it bringing her 5th grade self along with her on the train ride. The first third of the film is almost entirely consumed with flashback memories of Taiko's life back in the 1960s. Many of these are quite amusing, and a few are more serious. Taiko's memories are almost familiar to me. As portrayed here, she's less than a dozen years younger than I am, and when she recalls silly old kids' puppet shows on black and white television, or her small conflicts with her parents, and picking at her food, it reminds me of my own childhood. The female stuff, not so much. When modern-day Taiko arrives at the train station, she's met by Toshio, a young man about her age who she met only briefly on her previous year's visit. At first, Toshio comes off as a real country bumpkin, but he soon displays his quality and his enthusiasm and pride in his farming and his love of nature. After he drops her off at the farm and Taiko sets to work with the farmers, she and Toshio gradually become friends as he drives Taiko around the area and helps show her how farming is done. Taiko's memories of her 5th grade self will continue to intrude on her thoughts throughout the film. At one point, Taiko and Toshio are sharing a cup of tea in conversation when out of the blue she suddenly asks him how good he is at dividing fractions. It seems Taiko was bad at it as a child. She has a theory that people who just do what they're told are good at dividing by fractions, just invert and multiply. But Taiko insists on understanding what it means to divide a third of an apple by 1/4.
小学校の時、分数の割り算すぐできた。
は？
分数の割り算がすんなりできた人は、その後の人生もすんなりいくらしいのよ。
は？
私はダメだったのよね。
九九ができるならどうして間違ったのよ。
だって分数の割り算だよ。
リンゴにこだわるからわかんないのよ。掛け算はそのまま、割り算はひっくり返すって覚えればいいの。
That memory especially resonates with me. My bugaboo was long division, and I remember sitting at the kitchen table while my father got frustrated trying to explain to me what he thought was obvious. But then my father was an accountant in the day before there were mainframe computers, much less spreadsheets to take care of math for us. Taiko, it seems, was unable to simply follow instructions by rote. She struggles with understanding the meaning behind the process, and that confuses her. The Japanese title for this film, Omo de Poro Poro, suggests memories raining down, and that's perhaps more descriptive of the film's structure. Taiko spends her vacation sifting through her memories of the past, all told as flashbacks, to find direction for her future. This movie is written and directed by Isao Takahata, a Studio Ghibli partner probably more famous for Grave of the Fireflies. The part of the story about Taiko's childhood is taken from an episodic manga. Takahata created the modern-day portion of the story, which he used to frame those memories and deliver a thoughtful modern-day drama about adults as well. Both time frames are told with a sprinkling of good-natured humor, and both are steeped deep in nostalgia. The artwork for this movie is gorgeous. The countryside seen by modern-day Taiko is simply spectacular in its lush appearance, whether lit by the sun or drenched in the rain. Taiko's many recollections of her childhood are rendered in nostalgic detail, with slightly faded color and a soft focus background. Modern Taiko wanted to harvest safflowers on this trip, and in one scene she's picking the yellow flowers in the fields shrouded with pre-dawn mist when the sun suddenly breaks through over the hillside. The beauty of it all still takes my breath away. The character designs are by longtime Ghibli animator Yoshifumi Kondo. He gave the faces a slightly more detailed structure than is traditional to allow a more subtle range of expressions than is common. Only Yesterday also boasts an amazing musical score. It includes some original compositions, some Hungarian folk songs, some Romanian panpipe music by Zamfir, and an American country and western song with Japanese lyrics for the closing credits. This is a solid, dramatic story of a likable young woman analyzing her past and wrestling with her future. There's nothing incredibly serious going on in this movie. Taiko's past is reasonably normal, and so is much of her current life. There are no action scenes, no exciting chases, no melodrama. The simple, sentimental story is told with heaps of nostalgia, some gentle humor, and spectacular artwork. I give it 5 stars. As with all Studio Ghibli films, Disney holds the North American rights. They have a subtitled version that they dust off for special occasions, but it hasn't been released in the US. I saw it a couple of times on Pixar's John Lasseter hosted a Ghibli marathon on the Turner Classic Movie cable channel. I started to rewatch this on my old Laserdisc again when I learned that there was an English subtitled version available on DVD from the UK. That's what I've used here. It's actually pretty cheap and pretty good.
That DVD is an excellent 45-minute making-of documentary that includes a history of the Takahata-Miyazaki collaboration, some really interesting footage of both of them from the early days, and a segment on that safflower picking scene that I liked so much. That extra alone was worth the €7, not to mention a brighter picture than my obsolete Laserdisc.
Thanks for watching.